payroll, get people back to work. So recovery is slow, and what we heard was, the last thing I'll tell you on this front is, NFIB did a study just within the past several weeks and found that if things don't improve markedly after Memorial Day, which just recently passed,
right,
we're going to find about 50% of all small businesses closing their doors. Nobody wants that. The governor, legislature, nobody wants to see that happen.
No, definitely not. Obviously, as we spoke about earlier, I mean, the small businesses are so much the backbone of what California's economy is. There's so many people that work for mom and pop type organizations who can, still put food on their plate and pay their rent and that sort of thing. And to have those businesses not open, especially in the numbers you're talking about, would be catastrophic to the state.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so Mike, that's why this thread, if you were asking about the workers' comp executive order that government recently signed, and I think that is why with all of these preceding and existing, mountains of problems that small businesses are facing just to stay alive and keep their people employed, we've heard so many of them very extremely concerned, uncertain, and many of them just disgusted with the costs and liability. Small businesses that we talk to, they don't want to appear insensitive to the governor's, thought about making sure that we're taking care of employees. We talk to a lot of small business owners who have said, look, I'm trying to do everything I can to make cuts where I can so that I don't have to lay people off. So that my very employees are protected, taken care of. If they are sick, if they're ill on the job, we can take care of them. But it also must be pointed out when it comes to workers' comp, because a lot of your listeners may not understand, it has nothing to do with an employee's salary or benefits. It's an insurance policy that the law requires employers to have to pay for medical care, lost wages, etc. So it's a cost of doing business. It's not a small cost. In fact, NFIB did another study recently on out of the 75 concerns small businesses have nationally, the cost of workers' comp and training is 13. And that was 5 points from the year before. So we are seeing workers' comp costs are not insignificant to mom and pop. And then when you talk about expanding this presumption that the illness happened on the job, the COVID illness happened on the job, that's very difficult to prove, and it's getting a lot of most small businesses are terrified of that order because of that.
Again, the idea is that presumptions force employers to pay workers' compensation even if there's no into the workplace, and that should capacity for the pandemic into small businesses. How do presumptions change the compensation rate for workers?
Well, again, you're listening again, the governor's executive order creates a workers' comp presumption that says that COVID-19 nothing to do with work.
I think tell us dog trainer and the actor.
To get to the team. It's not, God willing, that doesn't happen anymore. Anybody could be getting this done in a grocery store, dropping your kids off at a friend's house, or even somebody within a residential case. So the place that building on small businesses, again, we are already just in, and when we've had a system that is very rightfully required that the mechanism is in place, somebody gets injured by a machine, those are legitimate things that we can tangibly point to. But then you have to remember, now an employer is going to have to disprove this negative. They're actually going to have to now have additional costs, like to hire researchers, consultants, other medical or health professionals to actually get to the source of it, which may never happen. So you're just adding an entire wall of fear and cost, not just to mom and pop, but frankly for the employees who could very well be laid off because of these costs, and then ultimately to the taxpayers in terms of the new costs. We are expecting in the United States, we're looking at about $1.2 billion of new costs per year on employees, or for this particular period of time.
My guest is John Kabatek. He is the California State Director of the National Federation of Independent Business, and this is tuned in from Atlas and FM broadcasters and Global Jazz Incorporated. John is responsible for the recruitment, outreach, and involvement of upwards of 15,000 small and independent business owners from sectors including retail, restaurants, manufacturing, and agriculture. John also served as Senior Legislative Director and Vice President of the California Restaurant Association, during which time he helped lead successful efforts to mobilize small business restaurateurs and their employees to engage in statewide campaigns addressing small business issues. And previously, John served as Chief of Staff of the California Legislature and as Director of Coalitions for Governor Pete Wilson's successful re-election campaign, and as the Governor's Chief Deputy Appointment Secretary, where he was responsible for full-time and board commission appointments spanning more than eight state agencies, including business, transportation, and housing agencies. And he was selected by Governor Schwarzenegger to serve as Director of External Affairs. This is Tuned In from Atlas and FM broadcasters and Global Jazz Incorporated. And I say, my guest is John Kabatek. John, as we think about all of these things in regard to small business, it really can be quite frightening, and there is a slippery slope here that you're talking about that really, it seems like if you sort of go off the cliff, there's no coming back.
I mean, you look like a prince.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. I think I'm extremely heartened and inspired by so many small business owners who refuse to go off that cliff.
Yep.
And even if they find themselves slipping, they've come forward to the way, because number one, I think many of them just need to survive for their families and their employees' families. Many of them just consider those employees to be their extended family. But it's inspiring, like, to hear and see so many of these folks who have either used their businesses to give back to the community. We saw with the wildfires, and we're seeing it with a lot of these disasters and even the recent riots. Businesses that are preparing meals for first responders and for the community. We had a distillery down in Long Beach that was an alcoholic distillery that's now converted to hand sanitizer. Pretty awesome to see people mind at work. I know we often hear necessity is the mother of invention, and we're seeing that at work in a really exciting way. But there's so much of the challenges at the federal level, the challenges here, so many taxes and regulations. To prove something magically in thin air happened at their workplace, you can understand why so many of them are saying, maybe Montana, maybe Wyoming.
Wake up in the morning, let's start the day. Everybody's coming over.
To keep people, employees, and of course people need jobs to, pay the bills when you get right down to the end of the month. And all these things all play together. I think so often what happens is I think people kind of forget the idea that
wake up in the morning, let's start the day. Everybody's coming over to play. Get up.
It's a major step. That's what the governor's talking about.
It's a major step, and it's a major...
Do happen? Yahoo! Wow!
Stop applying for their filling out their application for their forgiveness loan so they can actually have money that can come in the door so they can actually keep their door and keep their door open. To now ask them to stop doing that, to hold back on sending off rioters who are destroying and looting their businesses, to now stop everything and now somehow magically prove that the burden of proof of the sickness or the illness came from within their business, which is next to impossible. So it's very, very frustrating. We hope to continue to have dialogue with the governor and his team to let them know there's got to be ways we got to make this work better, but this is not the way to make it work. And we want to keep businesses here. I think he understands that we want to keep businesses here. We just want to make sure that this is one of those ways that just sends them in a U-Haul that much faster.
Yeah, and of course, trying to keep jobs is so important. I have this vision, the way you're describing it, that if this kind of goes too far, employers are going to probably be forced to slash jobs, won't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the job slashing, we're already seeing some of that happening, and it's a heart wrencher for a lot of our small business owners. Again, many of them have either not renewed contracts with vendors. They have tried to scale back on programs and things that they work within their business so that they can keep their employees on payroll. And then the last thing we want to have to do is send them packing home. But this kind of a thing is a lot of unintended consequences. And Mike, the one thing I also try to make sure your listeners and most importantly policymakers remember is that the small business dollars that come through the door from the customer, from the consumer, many of those dollars go to our local, state, and federal taxes. And guess what that means? Guess what? That means fire, public safety, police officers, not just those folks, but our healthcare experts, and in many cases educators. That funding comes through and from small businesses. So as we're seeing the reopening happening, I think elected officials are getting excited because they know that those are dollars that will come back into their public coffers. But if small businesses continue to face these kinds of burdens, like that money will dry up, and those public services, those people we rely on in our communities, are going to dry up as well.
Small business owners were unable to operate during the pandemic, and that obviously set a lot of them back. And as you say, many of them probably won't be able to come back altogether. And many aren't sure they'll be able to open again, period. Be it this week, next week, or whenever. How are these employers and businesses expected to assume this huge new cost if everything goes through?
Well, yeah, it's going to be difficult. It's just very difficult new costs. And, to make matters worse, we're even seeing some legislation that's come down the pike relative to the workers' comp things that would actually even expand and extend the governor's